City Council narrowly approves staff's recommended site for the temporary shelter village. Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. It's a major step forward for the controversial Miles Street location. The approval came after a lengthy discussion at City Hall last night featuring deputations from a number of community groups. In the end, the vote passed by a narrow 6-5 margin with 2 council members absent. And as Jessica Clement explains, the decision still needs to be ratified next Monday.
The temporary shelter village dominated Monday night's council meeting, with councillors once again debating the Miles Street property. City Manager John Collins says the site offers the best chance of success.
In terms of, first of all, helping those experiencing homelessness. Secondly, contributing to the safety and well-being of the rest of the city. And thirdly, promoting an image and an environment for our city that will spur growth and help the city strive.
Councillors heard 4 deputations Monday night, 2 in favor of the Miles Street site and 2 against it. Those who oppose the location say having a village there will negatively affect area businesses and residents. At-large Councillor Rajni Agrawal echoed those concerns.
I believe in compassion, I believe in care, and I believe in helping, but not at the expense of someone who's put 40, 50, 60 years of having their business there.
At-large Councillor Mark Bentz also remains steadfast against the location.
So I mean, there's still a lot of unknowns, and I mean, I'm not comfortable moving forward with multi-million-dollar projects with lots of unknowns. We've backed ourselves into quite a corner here.
At-large Councillor Shelby Chung is standing behind the recommendation to use the site.
We know what the do-nothing option looks like. And I'm not interested in leaving us here, Chair. I think we should do this. It's not perfect, it's not permanent, but it's a realistic approach to a very hard and complicated issue.
McKellar Councillor Brian Hamilton emphasized that his ward has been significantly affected by the opioid and homelessness crises, adding that the village will have a positive impact in the community.
We're not building emergency shelter, we're building spaces for people to transition into their lives. I believe, and evidence supports my thoughts, that there's going to be a decrease in call volume for emergency services. There's going to be a decrease in overdose deaths.
The vote passed 6-5 as Mayor Ken Boshkoff and Red River Councillor Michael Zucino were not at the meeting. The decision still has to be ratified at next week's meeting. Boshkoff has confirmed he will not support the Miles Street location. Zucino could not be reached for comment.
It could be a real roller coaster for the community over the next week, by the way that I count the votes around the table. So that's an unfortunate occurrence, but it's the reality of things. So I would ask the community to hold on tight and wait for ratification for the final say on this.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The province's Special Investigations Unit has cleared a Thunder Bay police officer of any criminal charges. It's in connection to a 2023 service call about a woman who was later found dead by suicide. Police were called to a home near Balmoral and Oliver Road regarding an unwanted female. The call came from the mother of the woman's boyfriend, who then called police a second time to say she had left. The 911 operator forwarded that info to the officer on duty, who agreed to cancel the call and not send any officers. But 8 hours later, the boyfriend found 21-year-old Jenna Ostberg dead in a bedroom closet. While the SIU director's report notes the officer could have made the choice to send police anyway due to the history of violence between the two, he doesn't believe that would have prevented Ostberg's death. As a result, he determined there's no basis for criminal charges. MNR fire crews continue to battle a blaze near North Spirit Lake First Nation. That forest fire is one of 54 currently burning in the region as crews battle against dry conditions and heavy smoke. Justin Hardy reports.
Fire crews continue to respond to Red Lake Fire 40, which is burning just over 9 kilometers south of North Spirit Lake First Nation. Fire Information Officer Chris Marchand says that the protection of critical infrastructure in the community was the first priority with that fire.
Crews have completed setting up sprinkler systems on critical infrastructure in the community and are testing them for gaps and for their effectiveness. So in the near term, firefighters will establish hose lines on the fire's northern perimeter to prevent the spread of that fire towards North Spirit Lake.
While Fire 40 is a priority due to its proximity to a populated area, it is just one of 54 active fires burning throughout northwestern Ontario. Red Lake 62 is now around 8 kilometers south of Pikangikum First Nation. Marchand says operations are in the early stages for that fire.
At the moment, we have about 10 crews and 7 pieces of heavy equipment and up to 18 aircraft working between 2 divisions of that fire. And more crews are going to be flowing into the area over the coming days to staff Red Lake 62 and several other fires that are affecting communities in the far north of the Red Lake Fire Management Area.
Most of the newest fire starts are affecting the Red Lake Fire Management Area, where dry conditions and poor visibility have made firefighting more difficult in recent days. Smoke from fires is also impacting fire suppression efforts, according to Marchand.
Smoke from active fires in Ontario and the Prairie provinces have been both an ongoing issue for Ontario residents, both in fire-affected communities and far to the south as well as being a limiting factor for aviation in our fire operations. Oftentimes, the smoke that you're experiencing can be from a significant distance away.
Ongoing fires in the region have also caused damage to the Watay-Nikanayat power transmission system, namely wood poles like these installed in 2018, cutting off power to Pikangikum, Poplar Hill, North Spirit Lake, and Kiiwetwin First Nations. Other affected First Nations luckily had backup power. Watay officials say they are working to repair the lines and restore power, but there are a lot of risks involved, including moving crews around by air, weather affecting flights, and risk of additional damage needed to be fixed. But if all went according to plan, power should have been restored by the end of day Tuesday. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
A local driver managed to escape injury yesterday after she was alerted by other motorists that her vehicle was on fire. It happened yesterday as the woman was driving in the Balmoral Street area. Thick plumes of black smoke rose into the sky after the compact car somehow caught fire. The woman eventually pulled over near the corner of Balmoral and Beverly Streets. Within a few minutes, the vehicle was engulfed in flames and destroyed. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue Platoon Chief Joe Ruchin says other motorists honked their horns and tried to flag the driver down to draw her attention to the fire, so she was able to exit the car without injury. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The heat from the flames was so hot that the pedestrian signals at the intersection there melted and will now need to be replaced. Cinema 5 Skate Park has gotten a substantial grant from the Ontario Trillium Fund to provide essential mental health resources to youth. Those involved say it will help build a safer, more inclusive space to support and address real challenges that generation is facing. Jaden Billick has the story.
After receiving almost $100,000 from the Ontario Trillium Foundation, Executive Director of the Female Border Collective and Cinema 5 Skate Park, Vanessa Bowles says her staff now has the opportunity to receive training around trauma-informed cultural competencies, safe talk assist, and mental health first aid.
As we teach our youth, they have the skills and ability to support their friends and family members that might be in crisis and give them the tools and resources to be able to do that more confidently. I think if it just prevents one person from committing suicide, or it gives another youth some tools to be able to help their friends through mental health crises, I think we've seen the benefit of it, and I think we'll continue to see the benefit of it.
And since opening over 2 years ago, staff have always aimed to create an inclusive environment for their members, and these training sessions are meant to further build a more safer, resilient space of empowerment when supporting their peers during times of crisis.
We create an open environment so they can feel comfortable talking to us, and if they have any questions, we can do our best to answer them or provide them with resources where they can better their environment and their future, and we can help them to learn and feel safe, and they can connect with us and trust us as staff to support them and keep them safe.
MPP Lise Vaugeois was there to acknowledge what the group has done since receiving the seed grant. She says these programs are very important to invest in now, as the current suicide rate amongst young people is disturbingly high, and any place that can intervene is worth supporting.
Getting the kids themselves to see themselves as mentors, as people who can lift each other up, and to have those really hard conversations about suicide, that's incredible. So it's exciting to see the sports, the community, the mental health aspect, and they're really being serious about giving people those mental health skills.
The grant will also enable the Female Border Collective to integrate suicide awareness, self-regulation techniques, and peer mentorship into its existing community programs. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Well, great initiative there. After sitting vacant for quite a few years, the cafe space at the Indigo Bookstore in Thunder Bay will soon boast a place for people to go for coffee once again. Local company Sweet North is preparing to move into the space. The Sweet North Bakery started up in 2014 and currently has 2 locations in the city, one on Fort William Road and one on High Street. The chapter's Indigo store used to have a Starbucks, but it closed about 4 years ago. Sweet North is bringing new life to the spot with freshly made bakery goods. Co-owner Aaron De Lorenzi says they have big plans for their 3rd location, which they recently signed the lease for.
Well, we just got the keys, so nothing's going on yet, but we will get started as soon as we can. We are definitely transforming it into the Sweet North. We want our familiar customers and new customers to be able to walk in and say this feels like the Sweet North. So that's important to us. And yes, we're probably going to be doubling our staff. It's a big space, it's busy, and it has hours 7 days a week.
The new Sweet North location at Indigo is expected to open in late October. A weekly barbecue fundraiser on John Street is drawing in crowds in support of a local boy awaiting a kidney transplant and puppies in search of forever homes. Community Living Thunder Bay is hosting the barbecues every Tuesday to support Boston and his parents Gary and Bonnie Pichette. A GoFundMe for the family has already raised nearly $25,000. The weekly fundraiser also features volunteers from the Paws for Love Dog Rescue, who bring German Shepherd mix puppies in search of adoptive homes. We spoke to 2 of the organizers about how these barbecues support both causes.
And today and every Tuesday we are having a fundraising barbecue for a young man named Boston to help him and his family offset some medical expenses to London. So Boston had a kidney transplant and then it had failed. So we're helping that family out right now and every Tuesday. So come by and enjoy some Bagdella sausages, some 5-star buns. We also have popcorn and some homemade baking cookies.
Mama had 9 puppies. 4 of them have been adopted already. So there's 5 still that are looking for their forever homes. And yeah, that's what we do. We bring dogs in from northern communities. We vet them. We provide them with microchipping and deworming and vaccinations. And then when they're 8 weeks old, they're ready to go off to their forever homes.
All right, let's turn our attention to the weather now. And Fiona, you warned us yesterday that heat that we had yesterday could mean that a storm was coming. And boy, did it ever overnight and early this morning.
Definitely early this morning. It was an interesting way to wake up. I had some very nervous puppies on my bed wake me up and kind of tell me, Mom, something's going on out there. And it was pretty active, but after that, calmed down quite a bit. And we didn't get quite the humidity we had expected, but that was kind of a good thing. I got a break from all that sticky, warm air that we had last night. And mostly cloudy today, high of 20. That was after an overnight low of 14. Winds have been fairly light as well. It's kind of like the calm between storms, maybe. Winds started out from the east, about 11 kilometers per hour, rotated around in the afternoon to start coming in from the west, but actually has been mostly dying down to about 6 kilometers an hour. If we take a look at the system that moved through, you can see why we had those storms in the early morning hours. But after that, calmed down, and then for the last few hours, we've been kind of between the cells. We're just kind of bobbing and weaving around it, and we seem to be missing it. But there's still a chance of showers moving through with the rest of the system, but it's not a solid system, and it is starting to weaken a little bit with that cooler air from the northwest. That's calming things down quite nicely. Now, if we take a look at what's going on at this hour, Red Lake has had mostly cloudy skies and periods of rain throughout the day. They're currently sitting at 15, 17 in Kenora, 16 in Sioux Lookout, Fort Francis, still a little bit warmer at 19, and they've had rain off and on throughout the day, but they've got fog right now, so it's very gray, and along the highway in that region, visibility not that great. As you head up north of Lake Superior to Armstrong and Greenstone, the temperatures really haven't moved much. They had an overnight low of about 11 and a daytime high of 13, and they continue to hover in that range. They had rain all day. It's just been in the last couple of hours that they've started to see some fog and haze move in. Along the North Shore, mid-teens, and then we hit Sault Ste. Marie. They had a humidex of 38 this afternoon at this hour, with temperatures sitting at 28. They've got a humidex of, I believe, 34 at this time, so it's still a very warm night under mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we'll drop down to a low of 12. There is a 60% chance of a shower and a possibility of another thunderstorm this evening. But once we get through that, it should be calmer in the overnight hours, but still a chance of rain. And winds are going to be very consistent from the northeast, a solid 10 kilometers per hour for the night and into tomorrow. Now, things are calming down a little quicker. The system, as I said, with the cooler air from the north is calming down. All that energy is kind of dissipating, which means we're not going to get nearly as much rain as we thought we were going to, but there is a chance. The good news is it is looking to calm down for the rest of the week, and might be able to put away your umbrellas at least for a couple of days.
Well, that is good news. I was looking at the forecast earlier, and that expected amount of precipitation was a little concerning. All right, so I'm glad to hear we won't get quite that much. Thanks, Fiona.